The red dress clings, a second skin, bold and bright in the soft restaurant light. I tap my fingers on the crisp white tablecloth, the sound tiny and the quiet elegance. My eyes keep flicking to the heavy oak doors, then down to my watch. The waiters glide past, their smiles polite but laced with something I recognize. Pity. My phone buzzes on the table. James, a text. Short, to the point. Emergency at work. So sorry, can't make dinner. Again, a small, calm smile touches my lips. I lived this before. This exact moment. The disappointment, the forced understanding, the quiet tears later when I found out he wasn't at work at all. He was with Vanessa, my sister. This time, there are no tears, no disappointment, not really. I signal a waiter. The Chateau Lafite Rothschild, please. The 82. His eyes widen slightly. It's the most expensive on the list. Good. My fingers punch in a number I memorized in another life. Hello, Mr. Chen? My voice is steady, even cheerful. Yes, I'd like to proceed with purchasing the riverside property next to James's office building. Let's finalize the paperwork tomorrow. James, my fiancé. The man who just canceled our anniversary dinner for the second year in a row with a flimsy text message. He's the cornerstone of this elaborate stage, a man I thought I knew. Successful investment banker, charming, always busy. A workaholic, they say. I used to believe that. I used to admire his drive, his ambition. In my previous life, I saw it as dedication. Now, reborn into this moment, I see the subtle control, the careful erosion of my time, my expectations. It wasn't just work, it was a shield, a convenient excuse to hide what he was really doing. I remember the late nights, the canceled plans. Just a big deal closing, sweetheart. His voice was always smooth, apologetic. I'd nod, understanding. It's okay, I get it. Your career is important. But the unease was a constant hum beneath the surface. It grew louder when I found the phone, left carelessly on the bedside table while he showered. A message preview popped up. Can't wait to see you tonight. From Vanessa. That night, the night before our wedding, I found them in a hotel suite downtown. My sister, my fiancé. The betrayal was a physical blow, stealing my breath, my future. Everything I thought was real, I shattered. But then I woke up. Back here. In this restaurant. In this dress. Before the text. Before the discovery. A chance. Not to run, not to hide, but to rewrite. Now when James comes home late, smelling faintly of a perfume that isn't mine, I don't ask. I just smile. Ask about his busy day. He talks about mergers, acquisitions, client dinners that run late. His eyes are a little too bright, his movements a little too quick. I see the familiar signs of guilt, masked by bravado. He thinks I'm the same naive woman from before. He thinks he's getting away with it. He gaslights effortlessly when I gently ask if everything is all right, if he's sure he's not overworking himself. What's wrong, honey? Don't you trust me? It's just a demanding job. You knew this when you said yes. His tone is hurt, making me feel unreasonable for even questioning him. It's a classic tactic. Make me feel like I'm the problem for noticing his deception. But I see the flicker of something in his eyes. Relief? That I'm not pushing harder? That I'm falling for the act again? Not this time, James, not this time. And Vanessa, my beautiful competitive sister, the one who always wanted what I had. My favorite doll? Gone in Vanessa's room. My high school crush? Suddenly interested in Vanessa, my first serious boyfriend? Dated Vanessa right after me. It was a pattern, one I dismissed as unfortunate coincidence, her just being so popular. I excused it, made myself believe she didn't mean any harm. She was my sister, after all, my best friend. In my past life, she played the concerned sister after the wedding disaster. Held my hand, listened to my sobs. I can't believe he would do that to you. You deserve so much better. Her eyes were wide with fake sympathy, her voice dripping with false comfort, all while knowing, all while she was the one. The thought of her lies makes my stomach clench, but I push it down. Today, in this life, she innocently stops by James's office. I know because my sources tell me everything. She brings him a healthy lunch because he's working so hard. I picture her there, leaning against his desk, her perfect hair falling just so, her laugh tinkling. I remember overhearing a phone call between them just a few weeks ago, a hushed conversation about meeting up later, about needing to be careful. It mirrored conversations I heard in my other life, conversations that led me down the path to that hotel room. That devastating moment, finding them together, felt like the end of my world then. Now, it's the fuel for my fire. Then there's my mother, Helen. Status obsessed, image driven. She sees James as a prize, the perfect son in law with the perfect career and the perfect family name. He checks all her boxes. In my previous life, when I was a weeping mess after the wedding, she wasn't comforting, she was angry. How could you let this happen? Do you know the embarrassment this brings to the family? Maybe you were too demanding. Men like James need understanding. Her disappointment in me for not keeping him was a cold, sharp pain. Now she still gushes about James. He's working so hard, dear. Such a good provider. You're so lucky to have him. She says this even when he cancels plans last minute, even when he's clearly neglecting me. She sees the cracks, I know she does, but she smooths them over with platitudes and forced optimism because the idea of me not marrying James, of losing that societal status, is unthinkable to her. The most bitter pill to swallow is the dawning realization that she knows about James and Vanessa. She must. She's too perceptive, too involved in our lives not to. But she chooses to ignore it, to push me towards the altar anyway, because James's standing is more important than my happiness. Her silence is complicity. And Marcus. My best friend, or so I thought. He was the shoulder I cried on in my previous life, the first one I called after I found James and Vanessa. He was so supportive, so outraged on my behalf. He told me I deserved better, that he had always seen James wasn't right for me. I clung to his words, his apparent loyalty. But even then, there was something off. A little too eager to jump on James, a little too quick to offer his comfort. I see it now, jealousy. Not of James as a person, but of my relationship, my stability. He wanted me available, reliant on him. In this life, he offers similar advice. Maybe give him another chance? Work isn't easy, you know. He probably feels terrible. He sounds like he's looking out for my relationship, for us. But I've been reborn. I know the whispers he sends James's way. Little tidbits about my mood, my plans, my doubts. He's been feeding James information, keeping him updated on whether I'm getting suspicious, whether his lies are working. He thinks he's playing both sides, maintaining his position as my confidant while appeasing James. I confront him, gently at first. Marcus, have you been talking to James about us? About my feelings? He stiffens, his eyes shifting. What? No, of course not. Why would you even ask that? His denial is too quick. I push slightly harder. He cracks, just a little. Okay, maybe I mentioned you seemed a little stressed. I was just looking out for you. And for James. I just want you both to be happy. He frames it as concern, as trying to help, but I know the truth. He's a Judas in a friend's clothing. Their motivations, their betrayals, I see them all clearly now. And this time, I'm not the victim. I'm the architect. The first revenge loop begins subtly, silently. The wrong done. James cancels our anniversary dinner again. That careless text, a final dismissive blow in my previous life. Appears passive. I reply calmly. It's okay, James. I understand. Work is important. Don't worry about me. I play the forgiving fiancé, the understanding partner. He sighs relief through the phone. I can almost hear it. He thinks he's dodged a bullet. He thinks I'll just order takeout and watch Netflix. Maybe cry a little. He has no idea. Secret countermove, the call to Mr. Chen, the purchase of the Riverside property. It sits right next to James's gleaming office building downtown. Prime real estate, perfect for my plans. The ink isn't even dry on the deeds before the demolition crews arrive. Loud, dusty, disruptive. They start immediately. Heavy machinery, the clang of metal, the roar of engines. The vibrations rattle the windows of James's office. Important meetings are interrupted by the cacophony. Client calls are drowned out. He complains about the noise to me, oblivious. It's driving everyone crazy right next door. Who would start construction without warning? He paces the living room, frustrated. I listen, my expression sympathetic. Oh, darling, that sounds awful. Is it affecting your work much? I pour him a drink, the picture of wifely concern. Public fallout. James's boss, Mr. Henderson, a man James desperately wants to impress, makes a pointed comment during a team meeting. James, perhaps your choice of office location wasn't the most strategic, given the lively neighborhood developments. The remark is sharp, humiliating James in front of his colleagues. He comes home fuming, his carefully constructed facade of control cracking. It's ridiculous. I'm losing focus. The clients are complaining. Henderson is on my back. He's panicking about losing accounts, about his performance review. He actually asks me for business contacts, connections I've cultivated over the years through quiet networking events he never bothered to attend. Honey, you know so many people. Could you maybe introduce me to someone who could help? Someone who might smooth things over with this construction company? He's desperate. The irony is thick enough to cut with a knife. I nod slowly, pretending to consider it. Maybe, I say, my smile sweet. I'll see what I can do. The second revenge loop, the family dinner. Wrong done. My mother, Helen, hosts a family dinner. She insists Vanessa come. Vanessa, radiant and confident, flirts openly with James across the table. Their hands brush accidentally when reaching for the bread. Their eyes meet a little too long. They share inside jokes that exclude me. My mother beams, oblivious or perhaps willfully ignorant. Vanessa acts like the perfect sister, asking about my day, my plans. Her questions are loaded, trying to gauge how much I know, how much of a threat I am. Appears passive. I smile through the dinner, my face a mask of polite engagement. I laugh at their shared jokes, compliment Vanessa's dress, ask James about his stressful day. The food tastes like ash in my mouth, but I eat. I make conversation, the picture of the placid fiancé. Then, halfway through dessert, I press a hand to my temple. Oh, I'm so sorry. I think I'm getting a headache. The construction next door must be getting to me. I excuse myself early, leaving them to their cozy tableau. My mother fusses. James looks mildly inconvenienced. Vanessa's smile is a little too knowing. Secret countermove. From the quiet of my apartment, I anonymously forward the photos. Candid shots taken by a private investigator I hired days ago. James and Vanessa meeting for coffee, their heads close, laughing, holding hands as they walk down the street. Nothing overtly damning to a stranger, but enough to plant a seed of doubt, enough to ignite suspicion in the right people. I send them to James's parents. They're old money, traditional, obsessed with appearances and family honor. An affair, especially with the fiancé's sister, would be a scandal they couldn't tolerate. Next, I arrange a business opportunity for James. A potentially huge deal, but it requires him to fly to Singapore immediately for a week of meetings. He's thrilled, sees it as a chance to impress Mr. Henderson, to recover from the construction debacle. I pack his suitcase with a smile. The moment he leaves, I call Vanessa. Hey, Van, James is out of town for a week on business. Want to come over? We can have a girls' night, watch movies, drink wine. She agrees, her voice bright. She probably thinks it's a chance to gather intel, to see if I'm on to her and James. She arrives, comfortable in my home. We put on a movie, pour the wine. Casually, I leave my laptop open on the coffee table. An email is open, a draft I prepared earlier. It contains screenshots of their text messages. Messages I recovered from James's old phone before I gave it back to him after he lost it. They're explicit, incriminating, planning secret meetings, expressing feelings for each other, discussing how to manage me. I accidentally nudge the table, knocking the laptop slightly. Oh, clumsy me, I say, reaching for it, just checking an old email. As I grab it, I make sure Vanessa can see the screen. Her eyes widen, her face pales. The casual, confident air evaporates. Public fallout. James's parents confront him the moment he lands back in the country, not even letting him get home first. A tense meeting at their house, disappointment, anger, the scandal. His father, a stern, imposing man, makes it clear this behavior is unacceptable. that his engagement to me is the priority, the right path. James is blindsided, sputtering denials that sound weak even to him. Vanessa, her carefully constructed facade shattered, calls me later, sobbing. I don't know how you saw those messages. It's not what you think. He manipulated me. It was a mistake. Please, please forgive me, sis. We're sisters. Her desperation is palpable. She blames James entirely, tries to paint herself as a victim. I listen, my expression neutral, offering only a quiet, "It's okay, Van." Deep breaths. James rushes home early from his trip, his face drawn and anxious. He finds me calm, sorting through papers. He launches into an explanation, a frantic damage control effort. The meetings with Vanessa were professional, networking. The texts were taken out of context, meaningless office banter. He tries to twist reality, gaslight me into believing what I saw, what I know, isn't real. He's sweating, his tie askew. He's losing control and he knows it. The third revenge loop, the betrayed confidences. Wrong done. Marcus, my so-called best friend, reveals my private doubts and concerns about my relationship with James to him. He frames it as helpful, as trying to ensure James understands what I'm going through, but it's a calculated move to undermine me, to keep me unstable and reliant on his friendship. Appears passive. I meet Marcus for coffee. I thank him sincerely for his concern. It means a lot that you're looking out for me, Marcus, I say, my voice soft. James and I are working through things. I think I'm ready to forgive everything, to move past it. I feed him false information, painting a picture of a woman ready to sweep everything under the rug, to cling to the engagement no matter what. He looks relieved, maybe a little disappointed that his efforts to keep me single didn't work. He believes me. Secret countermove. I set a trap for Marcus. I arrange a meeting with Michael Chen, Mr. Chen's charming and successful son, ostensibly for a business discussion. I make sure Marcus is nearby, accidentally invited to the same cafe by a mutual acquaintance. I stage a moment with Michael, a hand resting on my arm a little longer than necessary, a shared look that could be misinterpreted, a hushed, intimate conversation about future plans that sounds suspiciously personal. Marcus watches from across the room, his eyes narrowed. He sees what I want him to see. Later, an anonymous package arrives at the apartment of Sarah, Marcus's long-term girlfriend. Inside are carefully selected screenshots of old messages between Marcus and me, from before I got engaged to James in my previous life. Messages where Marcus was trying to push things beyond friendship, making thinly veiled passes, expressing disappointment when I talked about James. Nothing recent, nothing from this life, but enough to show a pattern, enough to make Sarah question his loyalty, his intentions, his claims of being just my best friend. Public fallout? James, armed with Marcus's false report of my impending forgiveness, is blindsided when I continue to maintain my distance, my calm refusal to engage in his attempts at reconciliation. He confronts Marcus. "You said she was over it. You said she was going to forgive me." Marcus stutters, unable to explain the disconnect between what he thought he knew and what is happening. He looks foolish, unreliable in James's eyes. At a group gathering Marcus and Sarah attend, Sarah is quiet, her eyes fixed on Marcus. She makes a pointed comment to the group, loud enough for everyone to hear. Marcus has some interesting ideas about friendship, doesn't he? Especially with his best friends. The air crackles with unspoken accusations. Marcus is mortified, cornered. Later, he corners me, pleading. "Why are you doing this? I was trying to help you, to protect you." He claims it was all for my own good, that he misread the situation, that I'm being unfair. He begs me to explain to Sarah, to clear his name. He needs me to validate his actions, to restore his image. He needs my friendship now more than ever. But his desperation is just another layer of his manipulation. The construction next door. It's a constant, grinding presence, rattling James's nerves. He comes home one evening, agitated. "Henderson found out the construction permits were fast-tracked," he says, running a hand through his hair. "There were supposed to be delays, zoning issues. Someone pulled some serious strings to get this pushed through." He looks at me, his brow furrowed. Who has that kind of influence? It's like someone wants to make my life hell. I meet his gaze, my expression serene. I don't say a word. Who has that kind of influence? A good question, James. A very good question. My phone rings. I'm talking quietly, my back to the door. Yes, everything is proceeding as planned. The final details are being ironed out. Just then, James walks in. I end the call abruptly, maybe a little too quickly. He eyes me, suspicious. Who was that? He asks. Just a business call, I reply, putting the phone face down. Nothing important. He doesn't push, but his gaze lingers. He knows I'm hiding something. He just doesn't know what. Vanessa is always poking around my apartment when she visits, looking for clues. She finds my diary, a small, leather-bound journal I leave carelessly on my bedside table. She picks it up, a smirk playing on her lips. But as she flips through the pages, her smirk fades. The entries are perfect. Full of my anxieties about the wedding, my hopes for my future with James, my sisterly love for her. Every word is carefully crafted, innocent, exactly what a dutiful, slightly naive fiancé would write. It's too perfect, almost as if it was meant to be found. She closes the book slowly, her eyes narrowed. What am I planning? She can feel it, the undercurrent of something she doesn't understand. My mother calls me, her voice laced with thinly veiled concern. Margaret, dear, Mrs. Gable called me today. She saw you having lunch downtown with a gentleman, a very distinguished-looking gentleman. Mrs. Gable is the neighborhood gossip. My mother is panicking about appearances. He wasn't James. Was he? She asks, her voice dropping to a whisper. She thinks I'm having an affair. She can't comprehend that I might be building something entirely separate from James, something she knows nothing about. Is her daughter having an affair? Let her wonder. James mentioned something casually over dinner. Henderson said something strange today. He asked how I knew so-and-so from the exclusive business club. Apparently, he met you there last week. I didn't even know you had access to that place. He looks genuinely surprised. My social circle, my connections. He's always dismissed them as unimportant, as just my little hobbies. He never bothered to understand my world. What else doesn't he know? A lot, James. A whole lot. A package arrives by courier, inside a small, heavy key. Attached is a simple card with an address. An unknown property. A key to something I own, something James and the others have no idea about. It's another piece in the puzzle I'm building. What am I preparing? More than they can possibly imagine. Marcus is losing clients. Big ones. Accounts he thought were secure are suddenly pulling their business. His name is being removed from important projects. He's scrambling, asking questions, but getting no answers. He complains to me, frustrated. It's like someone is systematically cutting me off. How did they gain this kind of influence? He looks at me, searching for answers. How did protagonist gain this influence? Through channels he never even knew existed. Vanessa, still reeling from the text message reveal, is rummaging through my desk, hoping to find something to explain my strange behavior. She finds a draft of a wedding invitation. Her eyes light up, thinking she's found proof I'm still going through with the wedding, that her panic was for nothing. But then she sees it. The groom's name. It's not James, it's Michael Chen. Is she secretly engaged to someone else? The thought sends a jolt of fear and confusion through her. James's parents, their suspicions piqued by the photos and his vague explanations, start asking questions about my family, my background. They've always seen me as the daughter of a mid-level businessman and a socialite mother, comfortable but not wealthy. Not their level of wealth. But the rumors, the whispers they're starting to hear suggest something different. They ask my mother about our family wealth they never knew existed. What other secrets is she keeping? So many. I look at my calendar. A specific date is circled in red. It's approaching fast. My smile is calm, serene. What significance does it hold? It's the date everything changes. The date my new life truly begins. My mother, in a moment of panic, tries to access her home equity line of credit. She's met with a polite but firm refusal. The bank informs her that the mortgage on the family home has been paid off, and the ownership has been transferred. To me. She stares at the documents, her face pale. When did she acquire this power, while they were all distracted with their games? My phone buzzes. A message from an unknown contact. A simple message. Everything is ready. I read it, a sense of quiet satisfaction filling me. I look out the window, the city lights blurring slightly. What is about to happen? The unveiling, the grand reveal. The moment I stop being the pawn and show them I'm the queen. The meeting is in a glass-walled conference room high above the city. I walk in, composed, confident. I expect a few junior partners, maybe a department head. Instead, I see Mr. Chen, the man who facilitated the property purchase, sitting at the head of the table. And next to him, his son, Michael. And around the table, several other prominent figures in the city's financial landscape. They all rise as I enter, a gesture of respect James would never have received. "Miss Margaret," Mr. Chen says, a warm smile on his face. "We've been expecting you. Please, sit." He gestures to the seat beside him, the co-head position. A flashback hits me, a shard of memory from my previous life. After the wedding debacle, after months of rebuilding myself, I took a temporary job, needing to escape the suffocating pity and judgment of my old life. It was a small, unassuming role at a logistics company. It was part of the Chen family's burgeoning empire. I was just a face in the crowd, handling paperwork. But I saw things, reports, projections, early investment strategies. I saw the potential, the sheer scale of what they were building long before the world knew. I remember thinking, if only I had known this earlier. In this life, waking up in that restaurant, the first thing I did after the property purchase was leverage that forgotten knowledge. I contacted the Chen family, not as the heartbroken ex-fiancé, but as an anonymous source with insider information. I provided them with data, analysis, insights I'd gleaned from my brief time in their company in the previous timeline. I didn't ask for money, I asked for opportunity. I invested quietly, strategically in their early ventures, using the modest inheritance my grandmother left me, an inheritance my mother always dismissed as pocket change. I wasn't a major player, not at first, but I was in. I grew with them, learning, observing, building. I became a ghost investor, a silent partner. My identity shielded by layers of shell corporations and trusted intermediaries. Now, I hold significant shares. I sit on the board of this multinational corporation that James's investment bank only dreams of doing business with. The door opens and James walks in, looking flustered. He's late for what he thinks is a crucial client meeting. He scans the room, a practiced, charming smile on his face, ready to shake hands and make deals. His smile freezes. He sees me, sitting at the head of the table next to Mr. Chen. "Margaret, what are you doing here?" His voice is sharp with confusion, then irritation. He probably thinks I'm crashing his meeting, trying to cause a scene. Mr. Chen raises an eyebrow slightly. "James, you know Miss Margaret, our esteemed colleague?" His tone is polite, but the emphasis on esteemed colleague is clear. James stares at me, then at Mr. Chen, back to me. Comprehension dawns slowly, a painful realization. The revelation hangs in the air. I am not the woman he left waiting in a restaurant. I am not the woman whose tears he expected. I am secretly wealthy beyond his wildest imagination. While he was playing his petty games, building his career on shaky ground, I was building an empire in the shadows. His company, his precious investment bank, a minor subsidiary, a tiny cog in the massive machine that the Chen Corporation, a corporation I partially own, controls. My mother calls, her voice trembling. "Margaret, the house, the mortgage. They said it's paid off, and it's in your name." She's discovered I own their home, the home she always controlled, always used as leverage, always threatened to take away. Now it's mine, bought out from under her, quietly, efficiently. The power dynamic in our family shifts irrevocably. I arrange a seemingly casual dinner with my family. My mother, father, and Vanessa are there, tense, uncertain. I sit at the head of the table, not out of arrogance, but simply because it feels right. Over dessert, I reveal it all, not dramatically, not with anger. Just a calm, factual explanation of my investments, my position in the Chen Corporation, the ownership of the house. Their faces are studies in shock, disbelief, and dawning fear. They thought they knew me. They were wrong. Vanessa, recovering slightly, attempts to salvage something. She turns her charm on Michael Chen, who is also present, invited by me. She smiles, flirts, tries to make a connection. Michael, it's lovely to finally meet you. I've heard so much about the Chen family. She batting her eyelashes, the same routine she used on James. I watch her, a small, cool smile on my lips. When she finishes, I speak, my voice clear. Vanessa, I say, addressing her directly, I should inform you. The membership committee at the country club had their vote this morning. It was unanimous. Vanessa looks confused. Unanimous against, I clarify softly. For your membership. It seems some concerns were raised about discretion. Her face falls, the color draining away. The country club, her social lifeline, her access to the elite circles she craves, denied. By me. Marcus, distraught about his vanishing client list, finally understands. He confronts me again, not with accusations, but with bewildered questions. Those clients, the ones I lost, they were all connected to the Chen Group. How? How did you do this? He realizes his success, his career, wasn't built on his merit alone, but on connections he didn't even know he had, connections that flowed through me. His sense of self-importance, his carefully constructed image of competence, crumbles. The final reveal, delivered with quiet certainty to James during one of his desperate attempts to understand what is happening. That construction next door, James, the one that's been disrupting your important meetings. He nods, wary. I didn't just buy the property next door, I say, the full weight of my words settling upon him. I bought the entire building, your office building. You're working in my building now. His face pales, his jaw slackens. He is speechless. The control he craved, the power he wielded, was an illusion. He was a guest in my house all along. James arrives at my apartment carrying a small velvet box. Inside, a diamond necklace, impossibly expensive, sparkling under the chandelier. He looks contrite, his eyes full of a desperate plea. Margaret, please, I know I messed up terribly, but we can fix this. Look, I got you this. He holds out the box, the necklace a glittering bribe. I listen. I look at the necklace, then at him. My face is calm, devoid of emotion. Then, I simply say, no. He flinches, surprised by the quiet finality of the word. No? What do you mean, no? You're upset, I get it. We can talk about it, we can go away. Paris? We can go to Paris, just the two of us. I'll get you a bigger ring, the biggest one you want. He's trying to buy his way back in, offering trinkets, trips, promises. He still thinks I can be swayed by material things. I walk away from him towards the window, looking out at the city lights. James, I say, my voice soft but clear. I don't need your gifts. I don't need a trip to Paris. I already own an apartment there. A beautiful one, overlooking the Seine. The casualness of the statement hangs in the air. He stares at me, the necklace forgotten in his hand. He has nothing to offer me that I don't already possess, or can't acquire myself. A frantic knocking at the door. It's Vanessa, her face streaked with tears, her eyes red-rimmed. She bursts in, collapsing onto the sofa, a picture of dramatic despair. Margaret! Oh, Margaret, I'm so sorry. It was all a mistake. He manipulated me. He told me. He told me you didn't love him, that you were going to leave him. She confesses everything, a torrent of self-pity and blame directed solely at James. She reaches for my hand, her touch cold and clammy. Please, sis, you have to forgive me. We're sisters. We can get past this. A second chance? I walk over to her, pick up a box of tissues from the coffee table, and hand them to her. Here, I say gently. She takes them, blowing her nose noisily. I look at her, this woman who shared my childhood, who was supposed to be my closest ally. Vanessa, I say, my voice quiet but firm. Our relationship ended. It ended in my previous life. She stares at me, the tissues halfway to her face, her eyes wide with confusion. Previous life? What are you talking about? She doesn't understand, can't grasp the concept of rebirth, of a past timeline where her betrayal cut me to the core. I offer no explanation. I simply walk to the door and open it. I think you should go now, I say. She hesitates, looking lost, then slowly rises and walks out. I close the door quietly behind her. My mother calls, wanting to arrange lunch. We need to talk, Margaret. As a family, we need to put this behind us. She tries to minimize James and Vanessa's actions, framing it as a youthful indiscretion, a misunderstanding blown out of proportion. You're overreacting, dear. Think of the family reputation. You're engaged to James. You can't just throw that away. She's still focused on appearances, on what society will think. She suggests I should forgive and forget for the sake of appearances. I meet her for lunch. She orders her usual, the most expensive item on the menu. We make small talk about the weather, the latest gossip. When the bill arrives, I pick it up. Mother, I say, my voice calm, I've made some changes. Starting now, I'm cutting off your financial support. Her hand freezes on her teacup. Her eyes widen in disbelief. The allowance I've been sending her for years, the money she used to maintain her lifestyle, her social standing, gone. But you can't! I'm your mother! She sputters, her face flushing. I sign the credit card slip, my hand steady. I can, I say. And I am. I've already given you second chances, Mother. Chances you never even knew about. I'm referring to the times in my previous life I wanted to confront her about her blatant favoritism towards Vanessa, about her pushing me into a life I didn't want, but bit my tongue, trying to be the dutiful daughter. Now, I have no reason to hold back. I leave her sitting there, speechless, the expensive lunch tasting like dust in her mouth. Marcus approaches me at a coffee shop, looking sheepish, nervous. Hey, Margaret, can we talk? He sits down across from me, fidgeting. Look, about everything. I know things are messy, but I can help. I can talk to James, to Sarah. I can convince everyone to apologize properly, to make things right. He's trying to insert himself back into my life, positioning himself as the fixer, the essential friend. You're being too harsh, he says, leaning forward, his voice low and earnest. You need your friends right now. I look at him, this man who betrayed my trust in 2 lifetimes. I see the same neediness, the same subtle manipulation beneath the facade of concern. Marcus, I say, my voice gentle but firm. I know about everything, about your manipulations, in this life and in the one before. His eyes widen, his carefully constructed composure cracking. He opens his mouth to deny it, to make excuses. I cut him off quietly. I've outgrown the need for friends like you. I rise from the table, leaving him sitting there, stunned and alone, amidst the chatter of the coffee shop. My circle is small now, built on trust and genuine connection, not on convenience or veiled agendas. I walk out, feeling lighter than I have in years, 1 year later. I stand on the balcony of a coastal villa, the sunset painting the sky in hues of orange and purple. The gentle ocean breeze carries the scent of salt and the sweet fragrance of jasmine from the garden below. It's peaceful here, a world away from the noise and drama of the city. I reflect on the journey since I broke the engagement. The initial shock from James and my family, their attempts to regain control, their eventual sputtering defeat as they realized the extent of my planning, my power. It was messy, yes, but ultimately clean. A surgical excision of the toxic elements in my life. Michael Chen walks onto the balcony, bringing 2 glasses of champagne. He's smiling, his eyes warm as he kisses my shoulder. Penny for your thoughts? He asks. Just thinking, I say, taking a glass, about how different things are. He nods. We met properly in this life through business, a natural progression from professional respect to friendship, then something more. But we'd had a brief, almost unnoticed encounter in my previous life at a charity gala. I barely remembered it, just a fleeting conversation. He remembers it more clearly. Timing is everything, I suppose, he says, a soft smile on his face. In another life, perhaps we just weren't ready. This time, we were. Our relationship grew organically, built on mutual respect. shared values, and a quiet understanding that transcends words. Below, on the beach, a small, intimate gathering is taking place. Our closest friends, the people who stood by me, and Michael's family. It's our engagement celebration. Simple, heartfelt, real. No pretense, no ulterior motives. On a side table inside, a thick envelope sits unopened. Vanessa's wedding invitation. She's marrying someone suitable, someone from a good family. A strategic alliance, no doubt, in her attempt to rebuild her shattered social standing. I feel no curiosity, no desire to attend. On a tablet nearby, a news article is visible. James Armstrong's investment bank announces significant downsizing following leadership shakeup. A quiet satisfaction, not of malice, but of justified consequence, settles over me. His world is shrinking while mine expands. A postcard lies next to it, from my mother, a picture of a generic beach resort, a budget vacation. Her attempt at reconciliation. She writes about missing me, about hoping I'll reconsider cutting her off. The writing is shaky, desperate. I feel no anger, no desire for revenge. Just a quiet sense of closure. The past is the past. Michael wraps an arm around me as we watch the sunset. Do you regret any of it? He asks softly. The past year, the choices you made? I watch the waves crash against the shore, the endless rhythm of the ocean a soothing balm. I smile, a genuine, peaceful smile that reaches my eyes. I regret nothing, I say. This time, I chose myself first. My gaze drifts down to a small construction site visible from the balcony. Another venture beginning. A new building rising from the ground. On the table beside me, a stack of architectural plans, neatly bound. The label on the cover reads, Future. My hand rests on them, a quiet promise. The story isn't over, it's just beginning.